Welcome back, everyone! This is Journitis bringing you Feed the Beast 1710. Today we are starting on episode 28, and today we will be playing with the beginnings of Thaumcraft. Alright, so when we start with Thaumcraft, there's basically one of two ways you can go about it. One, you can figure out how to start Thaumcraft without coming across random items in the world, or you can come across random items in the world. And the reason I'm saying this is because the first thing you're going to want to do is get a Thaumonomicon. When you look up the Thaumonomicon in the NEI and you click it, there is no recipe for it. Okay, because the way you get a Thaumonomicon is actually kind of special. Now this is assuming that nobody has any knowledge of how to get a Thaumonomicon. Okay, so for those of you, if this is your first time experiencing Thaumcraft, this is a good thing to know. Alright, first off, the Thaumonomicon can be found as dungeon loot. Okay, if you happen to come across a couple villages, as we have, and ironically enough I didn't find any, but you can find a Thaumonomicon in the Thaumcraft villager's house, which has a chest hidden in it. Well, not hidden in it, it's on the second floor anyway. But you can find the Thaumonomicon there. You can also find Thaumonomicons in any random dungeon loot, but the chances are, it's a percentage chance. It is random, so you can't always find one. If you don't find a Thaumonomicon in the world, well, the first thing you have to do is make one. Okay, so to make a Thaumonomicon, you need information from inside the Thaumonomicon to make the Thaumonomicon. So, yeah, that one always struck me as a little bit strange. But let's go ahead and show you how it works. Basically, what we're going to need to do is start out by getting ourselves a bookshelf. And as you remember, the bookshelf is 3 books plus 6 planks. Actually, I can actually show you that right now if you want. Right there is the bookshelf. The other thing that you're going to need is you're going to need to make yourself a basic wand. Okay, a basic wand is actually very simple. You get some iron nuggets and you make 2 iron caps. Okay, iron caps are just nuggets in an upside down U, and therefore you can get those. So once you get that, then you can take a normal everyday stick and put a wand cap on either side just like this, and this gets you an iron capped wooden wand. It is the most basic and most junkiest wand in the game, but it's how you start out. It's where you go from here that makes a difference. Alright, so now that you have that done, you can go ahead, place the bookshelf in the world, put the wand in your hand, and right-click the bookshelf. And when you right-click it, it transforms the bookshelf into the Thaumonomicon. Okay, so now that you have the Thaumonomicon, you can actually look in the Thaumonomicon, and it will tell you in the Thaumonomicon how to get the Thaumonomicon. Seriously, that's actually, it tells you in the book how to get the book. So, yeah, either find it in the world or, have knowledge of how to do it ahead of time. When I first started playing with Thaumcraft, it took me forever to try to figure out how to get this thing started. Alright, so now that we have the basics set up, the first thing we need to look at is the Thaumonomicon. There's a lot of information to be read in here. They talk about the pecs and the trees and the ores and the enchantments that you can have for it. They talk about knowledge fragments and research. Okay, research is how you discover things. So this is what you want to start out looking at. Okay, here it tells you about how you can do several different things. It's talking about how you need to get a thermometer and have a research table and how to do things in the research table. Okay, and that's where we're going to start out. First off, you can have the actual thermometer. Which actually is basically a scanning device. It's going to let you discover things about the world around you and what magical properties the objects in the world possess. Okay, and it shows you to make that. You just need 2 pieces of gold, a piece of glass, and any of the Thaumcraft shards. Okay, the Thaumcraft shards can actually be found out in the wild, and they're not going to show what they look like, but let's see. I can probably show you that real quick. When you look up infused stone, you have air-infused stone, fire-infused stone, water-infused stone, earth-infused stone, order, and entropy, or chaos, if you will, stone. So you find these in the world, you mine them up, and when you mine those up, you wind up with Thaumcraft shards. Since we are in episode 28 at this point, we have already gotten quite a few of these through manual mining and through some of our auto mining purposes. Auto mining processes, not purposes. So let's just go ahead and grab 2. We're going to use the earth shards because we have the most of those at the moment. So we're also going to need some glass, or a piece of glass in this case, and 2 pieces of gold. All right, so we can go ahead and combine these in our not research table, in our crafting table, and that will get us the thermometer. Okay, so that is the first thing there. The second thing that we can do is we can make a couple of the basic items that are going to be necessary for the purpose of research, and that would be the research table. Okay, um, now it should show me how to make the research table, but oh yeah, it's further along. No, they didn't actually. Let's see. Hello. There we go. So anyway, once you have that made, what you want to do is make yourself a research table. And to do that, you want to make just some normal tables, and then we're going to convert them. Okay, so the normal tables from Thaumcraft are going to be hidden on the last page inevitably. Here we go. You're going to want the normal everyday table, which is just some planks and some slabs. All right, now when you're making these, we're actually going to need a total of 3 of these, so we should go ahead and make them. We're going to need 2 for the research table, and then 1 for the Thaumcraft crafting table that uses the Thaumcraft stuff. I can't remember the name of it because I'm drawing a blank, and it's what I do. Anyway, so once you have these, what you want to do is place them in the world, and the first one you can just place normally and right-click it with your wand. And it will put the wand on the table, and it will create the arcane work table, because I needed to do that because I couldn't remember the name. I know what I'm doing, I promise. Alright, so this is the arcane work table, and that's going to be used for many of the crafting recipes that Thaumcraft uses. Most of Thaumcraft stuff has to be crafted on this or on a even more complicated crafting system, but we'll get into that probably, well, it won't be this episode, that's for certain. Anyway, so the arcane work table is what you need to do a lot of that. Very few things in Thaumcraft are done in a vanilla crafting table. As a matter of fact, the thermometer is one of the few that you actually will be doing. Okay, one of the other things you're going to need is a set of scribing tools. Okay, scribing tools is what you're going to be using to make your various researches possible. To do that, we're going to be using a glass bottle, an ink sac, and a feather. We should have plenty of feathers. Wow, I have a lot of eggs. Yeah, eggs. Sure. Good job, chickens. You. Wow. Okay. Sorry, didn't expect to have quite so many eggs. I guess I did set that up quite a while ago, didn't I? Yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and make ourselves a set of researched scribing tools. Sorry, just too many eggs. Eggs everywhere. Alright, so the scribing tools are what you use to change the other 2 tables into your research table. Okay, now I need to actually pick a better place to do this because, in all honesty, the house is getting a bit on the crowded side, and we're going to have to do something about that. So, since we have magnum torches out here, we're just going to do this outside for the moment because I can and I want to. We will be building ourselves a Thaumcraft house, but that's probably going to take an episode or 2 before I can actually be ready for that. Now, with the scribing tools, you can click on either the right table or the left table, and depending on which side you click on will determine which way the table is facing. If you click on the left side, it's facing on the left side with that over there. If I was to click over here, it would put this here and the paper over there. Alright? So it doesn't really matter, but you can do it whichever way you want to. Alright, so this is the way we get started. Okay, we've got the basic setups here. And now what you want to do is you want to scan different things to get research points. Now on the research table itself, you actually have the basics for doing your basic research. I just need to grab some paper. Okay, when you right click on the research table, it brings up this all too complicated menu. It's actually not very complicated at all at the moment, and I forgot that that's not how that works anymore. You don't put paper in the research table anymore. So anyway, what you have here are research points, okay? You start out with a certain number of research points just because, okay? They give you some to start out with, but to get more research points, you have to scan things and learn things about them. Any new item that you scan gives you research points, and then you can use the research points to do research and therefore learn things that you can make in this mod. Okay? So I'm going to do this rather quickly because I want to show you guys how to accomplish this without having too many troubles. So the first thing you want to do, first thing we want to do is get all of the research aspects, okay? And the reason that is because you can scan everything, but like I want to scan this grass block, and it says on the right-hand side, to understand this, you need to study sources of life, okay? Like if I wanted to scan the cactus over here, it says that I need to study sources of life, okay? And anyway, like we can scan this aura node, and this is going to say that, oh wait, ironically enough, I actually have, because that one is just a basic aura node. Actually, we have another aura node over here, but it's probably going to, oh, well, that one's just air too. Sweet. So as you can see, when I scan those, I got research points. But let's see, we can scan cows, but it says that we need to study things that move. Okay, so every single thing that you can scan has a certain type of aspect or combination of aspects on it. But if you don't know what the aspects are, if you haven't discovered the aspects yet, then you're not going to be able to scan them. And since all of the research requires aspects, you want to scan as many things as possible and get all of the different aspects so that you can continue forward in the mod. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys really quickly how all of this is going to work. Alright, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start scanning things, and we're going to get all of the aspects, or as many as you can reasonably anyway, and we're going to get them all put together real quick. Ready? Here we go. So the first thing you want to do is you want to discover the aspect called Victus. Okay, Victus is the aspect of life. Okay, there are very few things in the world that carry Victus, but it is a very important piece necessary for a lot of the other things. Okay, Victus is very simple. Victus, you can actually combine things in this in the research table to make new aspects if you know what they are. Okay, other than scanning them. Okay, so I know that Terra plus Aqua equals Victus. So by clicking on Terra and Aqua, it put the aspects here, and then when you click this button right here, it combines them together, and it made Victus for me. Okay, now you can click each one of those and it'll put it back. Now it actually consumed one of each of those research points in order to do that, but now I have discovered Victus. Okay, now a second ago, if you remember, I couldn't scan the grass block, but I think I can now. I can, because I have discovered Victus. Okay, now by doing that, we have discovered Herba. Okay, now why were we able to discover Herba when we weren't before? And there's actually a very simple answer to that. And to answer that, we're going to look in the Thaumonomicon. Now, in the Thaumonomicon, you have here that says Aspects of Magic. Okay, the Aspects of Magic show you all the different aspects. All right. Now, you start out with the 6 basics. Like I said, air, water, fire, earth, and heart. I mean, Perdido and order and chaos, okay? Now, everything stems from these primal aspects, okay? So, basically, in this case, Aqua plus Terra, 2 primal aspects, combine to make Victus. Now, Victus is going to be used in a whole bunch of different things, but when you break it all breaks down to the primal aspects. Everything is made, and you break it down to its very basic core, out of these 6 basic aspects. Okay, so for you to discover anything new, you need to know what the 2 pieces are that create it. So in this case, it shows Herba is Victus plus Terra. Now, I couldn't scan grass before because I didn't know what Victus was. Okay, so you can't discover a new aspect if you don't already know the 2 pieces that make up that aspect. Okay, and that can make scanning things a little bit troublesome, shall we say. So like I said, we're going to go through this, and we're going to scan the various things that will make it easy for you to be able to get all of the aspects, and therefore never have a message saying you need to, study things that are, contain life or whatever. We're just going to do this all straight up. So here we go. All right, now, in this chest, I prepared this ahead of time, and if you guys want to, you can always use this video as a reference, and it will show you what you need to scan in what order. Okay, now, if you want to, you can pause the video here. From left to right, going down the column like you're reading a book, these are the items that you want to scan in order. Now, you might ask yourself, why are there soul vials in here? Well, the soul vials actually have to do with actual creatures, okay? Here's a chicken, and down here is a zombie, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, we'll just put this paper down here for now. We're going to go ahead and actually start scanning these things in order. And, of course, the torch automatically goes off to itself. All right, and we're going to start scanning these things as we bring them down. And basically, by scanning them in this exact order, we will discover every aspect that we need to know to make it so that everything can be scanned. We'll actually probably see almost everything that can be scanned. So we're going to toss a torch out, and by scanning the torch, we're going to get lux. Okay, lux is light, and lux, if we look in the Thaumonomicon, lux is actually the combination of fire and air. Okay, air and ignis, so those are the primal aspects. Now that we know lux, we can scan other things that contain lux. So real quick, we're just going to go ahead and toss these things out. Coal is going to contain fire and potentia. Okay, and potentia is going to be ordo and ignis. Okay, fire and order. So ordered fire is potentia, or energy, if you will. Okay, now I'm not going to bother to explain all of these to you because we'd be here forever. So we're just going to run through these real quick and we'll discover all the different aspects. So grass block we've already scanned. A trapdoor is going to get us motion, or modus, and arbor, which is tree. So motion and wood. A chest is going to get us vacuos, which is basically emptiness, which is, the chest is empty. Glass is going to get us vitreous, is what it said. Vitreous being a crystalline. The earth shard is going to get us magic, and vitreous, actually, kind of ironic. I didn't need the piece of glass. Okay, after that, we're going to go ahead and scan a chicken, and that should give us the life aspect. Let's see. Hello, chicken. Stand still. And by scanning that, we actually get both volatus and bestia. And yeah, you know what? You can live. So volatus is flight, and bestia is beast. All right, and that's, like I said, we're just discovering these things as quick as possible here because it makes life easier. Soul sand is going to get us. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to discover the nature of death. I skipped a step. The nature of death is one that's easier to do if you just research it yourself. If you take victus plus chaos, so life plus chaos, you wind up with death, or mortus, or mortis, however you want to look at that. And now that we have mortis, we can actually go ahead and scan the soul sand, because the soul sand has spiritus and I don't remember vinculum, the trap aspect. Okay. After that, we can scan paper, and that's going to get us the cognito, which is brain. Rotten flesh is going to get us the I can't remember the name of it. It's humanus, and the other one is corpus, which is flesh. And then we can scan wheat to get hunger and crops, I think is that one's called. Flint will get us the tool aspect. And then we can go with obsidian will get us tenebris, which is darkness. And now we'll just be discovering, this actually has gotten you all of the aspects that you need ahead of time. This other stuff is just scanning things to get things that we haven't gotten yet and discovering all the new different things. So as you can see, we're getting all kinds of good stuff here, and this is just going to be the way that we learn all of the different aspects. Once we learn all of the different aspects, then we can scan anything we want. Okay, now as you scan these things, you can go back into the Thaumonomicon and discover what each piece was made out of and what it ultimately boils down to. But this real quick is just going to get us all the different things. Alright, so we should be able to go put these back. I need to scan the zombie. I didn't bring him with me. That's fine. Alright, don't need you guys. And yeah, I'm putting them back in a horrible order, so if you want to actually see what order I did do them in, then you should probably go ahead and rewind the video and pause it at that point. Couple of things that we should tell you about. I said we. Like there's more than one of me here. Hello, zombie. You should be on fire, but I can still scan you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate your sacrifice. The other thing is that one of the things that's actually very hard to come by, well, it's actually not that hard to come by, but the taint aspect, I can't remember the actual name of it. To get the taint aspect, you actually need to find a tainted area from Thaumcraft, and those things are actually either really easy to find and annoying that there's so many of them, or more likely impossible to find and can't do anything with. Okay, it's just one of those things. You either have a bunch of them and you just can't stand having them, or you have none of them and wish you did. So anyway, as we can see, you can scan all kinds of stuff that you hadn't scanned already. You know, carrots, bones. No, not the rotten flesh, the bone, please. Okay, fine, whatever. One of the things that you need to keep in mind is that there is a thing called Aurum. Okay, Aurum is one of the other research points that's actually very hard to find. You can get it by scanning aura nodes. Sometimes an aura node will have one, or you can get it by scanning ethereal essences. And boom, there it is, Aurum. It's the only thing on ethereal essences. Well, most of them anyway. Some of the essences have stuff that isn't, but whatever. So now that we've done that, we've discovered almost every aspect. As I said before, you finding and making or scanning something that gets you the taint aspect can be very difficult. But now that we have all that, we can look in our research table, and we should see that, wow, look at all the research points. All the different aspects we've discovered, all the different research points. There are still a couple that we can make, like water and air is going to make Tempestus. That's one that you have a very hard time finding. But other than that, let's see. I don't think there's too many other things that you would want to get. Let me look through here real quick. I think I covered them all. Yep. So now we should be able to scan pretty much anything, and it will not say you need to discover or you need to research stuff about this or that. It's all going to be scannable. So as you look around, you'll find that there are many things that you can scan. They will all get you various research points, and you want to get as many research points as you can in order to do more research. So give me just a second. I'm going to walk around and scan all the things in the base. Alright, so now, you should also keep in mind, by the way, that you can't scan everything, okay? There are certain things that just aren't scannable, okay? You can try, but not everything is going to actually work and be scannable, okay? Lots of stuff will be, but, not every mod supports Thaumcraft, so not everything has something that can be scanned, okay? So keep in mind, if you scan something and it will say there's nothing you can learn from this, that means that there's just no one's programmed that particular thing into the system. It's just not there to be scanned. Now, if you were to look at things as they lay in your inventories, if you were to look at them and hold shift, you can see that it shows you the aspects that it's made of. Okay, that only works if you've scanned the item. Okay, so if I were to hold shift and go through here, you can see, oh, I've scanned those, oh, scanned those, but I haven't scanned that or that or that. So anything that is in here that you can see that doesn't have anything showing above it is something that can be scanned. So keep that in mind. There's lots of stuff to scan. Okay, and eventually when you run out of research points, so that's what you'll want to do. You want to scan through all the stuff and see if there's anything that doesn't actually show that you've scanned it. And of course, various things give you different research points. And of course, also, as you scan things, you might have just heard that little ding. That ding is basically, it's saying that I discovered some sort of hint to a research, okay? Certain types of research in the Thaumonomicon are locked, okay? And you have to scan a specific item to unlock them. Alright, so having just heard that ding noise, that is showing me that I have discovered something about something that shows me something about something else. Did you catch that? Anyway, so basically what it's saying is I have scanned something that has unlocked things. See right here, on the right side of the screen right there, it says you have discovered a clue to new research. Okay, and you get that by scanning specific items. I can't believe I can't scan blaze powder, but I can scan the rod though. Bingo. Alright, so you want to scan all the things, not just for the research points, but also for the possibility of discovering things that you didn't know about before. Like, I'm definitely scanning this gas tier because it can be very useful. Oh, really? I actually thought I would gain research by... Oh, well. Either way. So now that we've got the basics of getting items scanned, we're going to go ahead and do some research because, the basics of Thaumcraft have to include some research, right? So let me sleep through the night. I know I've got magnum torches out now, but it still is nerve-wracking to be out there when stuff can, walk up and blow you up. Alright, so when it comes to doing actual research, you want to have your scribing tools in your inventory, okay, because you're going to be using the scribing tools, and you're also going to want the paper that I left in this chest over here in your inventory as well. And I'll sort all that stuff back into its appropriate places at, a later time. So when you're going to do research, like I said, you're going to need paper, and you're going to need your scribing tools, and you're going to need your Thaumonomicon. So when you open your Thaumonomicon, as we were looking at it before, you can see that there's all these cool looking little things, okay? Some of them when you click give you information. Some of them when you click don't give you information at all. Hang on a second, let me show you this real quick. If you don't have the paper or the scribing tools in your inventory, when you click on it or when you mouse over it, it says you need scribing tools and paper to get this research note. And if you click it, nothing happens. Okay, so you want to get your paper and your scribing tools, and when you click on it, it now says it has added a research note to your inventory. Okay, so when you look at your inventory, look, we have a research note. It's for research expertise. Knowledge is power. Alright, so this is how you get access to different researches, okay? You have to accomplish primal researches before you get to advanced researches. So basically we have to learn about this research before we can have access to this and this. And as you can see, it says missing research required, okay? Now over here there's other stuff about aura nodes and tapping aura nodes to charge your wands and stuff, and we'll get into that probably next episode. Okay, now on the left hand side there's all these different tabs, okay? The tabs are all pertaining to different aspects of the Thaumonomicon, okay? So this one is just basic information. This is Thaumaturgy, which has to do with your wands and stuff that has to do with wands. Alchemy is creating items through by combining them with other items and other aspects. Artifice is going to be items that you can use, and there's the table information. I should have known. I knew it was there. I'm just silly, I guess. And other items that you can make, physical items that you create by combining with aspects and stuff of that nature. Like it's showing here, the table, the arcane work table, the research table, and how all that stuff goes together. Golomancy has to do with having little golem minions that will run around and do your bidding if you program them correctly. Yeah, that has to do with using magic with Railcraft. I have no idea what that does. I've never actually used it. Thaumic tinkering. This is where things get really interesting. There's a lot of really interesting things in the tinkering section. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff here. But to get to it, you have to get to specific items. Okay, you have to scan specific things. Like a lot of this stuff is missing research required. And it's going to require researching things in the basic Thaumcraft before you can get access to the tinkering stuff. Wow, there's a lot more stuff here than there was last time I opened this book. Anyway, then of course there's Apomancy, which has to do with magic bees and making magical things like that, like magic frames. Definitely going to get into that because the magic frames are really cool to have, and I definitely want to get access to these. I wonder if actually I can do that right now. I'm curious about that because I really want to get those grafters and the scoop. That's a thaumium scoop and a thaumium grafter. Let me walk out here. I should have an extra grafter hidden around here somewhere. And I think by scanning a grafter is what's going to give you access to that. Did I really break all of my grafters? That sounds about right, doesn't it? It's actually a perfect example if I can... I'd like to show you this happening. I'm not sure if it's going to do it because I just don't remember if that's the case or not. But we're going to find out here in just a second. Let me make myself a scoop real quick. And I'm missing a stick because brains. Now, if I'm not mistaken, by scanning a scoop, it should give me access to the thaumium scoop. Let's see. And nope, I'm wrong. Probably because I don't have thaumium researched yet. That's going to be right there. Magical metallurgy. I probably have to do that research first. So let's go ahead and get that research note. We'll make that one of our things to do. You might notice here in the basics of alchemy, it's going to tell us how to use the basics of alchemy, and It's talking about how to make a crucible and how you use said crucible. We probably won't get into that this episode, but we will see if we can. I've got a few minutes left. Let's get some research done real quick. Actually, you know what? Let's see. Ores and ingots. I'll show you how to make the crucible real quick. It's actually not very difficult. You simply make yourself a cauldron. And then with the cauldron, you place it in the world and right-click it with your wand, like a lot of other things in this particular mod. And that will turn it into the crucible. And there you go. Simply right-click it. And we'll get into how the crucible works and all that stuff probably next time. Anyway, when you're doing the research, you want to go ahead and get in here, and we want to go ahead and do the research expertise. Now, we'll have to put this in here, and we'll also have to put our scribing tools up here. And basically, the way this works is we need to combine, we need to connect, not combine, we need to connect these different aspects together by joining them with other aspects that have the same pieces. Okay, so basically, if it is made from the aspect that's showing, or if you can make it with the aspect that is showing, you can use it to combine. Like in this case, we have Cognito. Okay, now if we look in here, Cognito, if we look in the basic information, is going to be made up of Terra and Spiritus. Okay, so that means that Cognito can be connected to with Terra or Spiritus, either one. Okay, or anything that Cognito is used to make as well. In this case, Humanus has Cognito in it, but we're going to go with Terra because that breaks it down to a primal aspect. So let's see, let's grab Terra, click and drag, and when we drop it over here, you can see that it writes it into here. It uses a little bit of our scribing tools durability, and we now have a line that connects those two. Okay. Other thing that we can look towards, and I'll get back to that in a minute because we can combine that. The other thing we want to look at is census. Okay, census, the little owl thing, is basically the ability to sense things. Census. Where's the little owl? Here we go. Census is air and spiritus. Okay, so I'm going to break it down to the air aspect because that makes it easier for me. All right. So now we have basically 3 out of the 6 basic primal aspects. All right. And we're going to go ahead and combine a couple of things so that we can go ahead and connect all these together. Okay, I happen to know that air and water makes modus. So I'm going to go ahead and get some modus out. And there we go, modus. And that's now going to connect that, okay? So when we look over at modus, we can use modus and connect that with ordo. I can't remember which one it is. Modus Victus, modus, no. All right, iter is modus and terra, and that's... I always have a hard time getting these things figured out the first time. Once I get into the groove, I can get it going pretty easily, but I actually have a hard time at first. Modus is air and ordo, not air and water. I thought it was air and water. Uh-oh. Okay, so maybe I'm not as prepared for this particular part. Like I said, I know how this works, and I have a hard time wrapping my mind around it at first. But once I do, it works out pretty good. Give me just a second, and I'll show you the actual culmination of this. All right, and there we have it. So basically, and yes, I did this completely backwards, but that's okay. We have Cognito. It has earth in it. Life has earth and water. And then life has part of Bestia, and Bestia is life in motion, and modus and ordo and air is modus. So we combine these this way. So you basically break them all down, and that's what you wind up with. Like census had air, part of census is air, part of modus is air, part of order is modus, and then modus to order again. Anyway, so that's how that completes out, and we wind up with research expertise. The reason I'm doing research expertise first is because it makes life a lot easier when it comes to research. Okay, I have a very hard time with research at first. So now here we have research mastery. Power is knowledge. Okay, now it says forbidden knowledge, mostly harmless. Okay, when you're doing research, there are opportunities to do research that is forbidden knowledge, and basically forbidden knowledge can have adverse effects on you. However, research mastery is far worth any of the adverse effects. Without it, I'm going to have a very hard time doing any research, so we're going to do it anyway. Now, when it says forbidden knowledge, it's basically going to give you what is called flux? No, not flux. It's going to give you this stuff right there. Warp. Warp, flux, and all things bad. Now, you should definitely read up on this. Warp can have some very interesting effects, and as we encounter them as we go on, I will tell you what they are, because we're going to wind up getting into this a good bit. Alright, so give me just a second to finish this research, and we will get that done, and at that point, we're going to have to wrap up the episode, because we are already running over. So give me just a second to finish this out, and I'll explain what all the research does. Alright, got it. This one was a bit more overcomplicated than it needed to be. I could try to go through it with you, but it's complicated. Anyway, we now have research mastery. Before I go on to that, by the way, the basic research makes it so that instead of having to go to the Thaumcraft to see what everything's made up of, if you just hover over it, it shows you what it is and what it's made of. Like here, Precontatio is magic, which is vacuum plus potentia. Potentia is order plus fire, so it makes it a lot easier. It saves you from having to go back and forth to the Thaumcraft every time you want to discover what new thing there is. Okay, research mastery, when we right click it, it says you have gained permanent warp. So yay, now funny things can start happening for no apparent reason. Alright, so now that we've unlocked that, let's go ahead and read this real quick. It is saying that you're better at doing research when you remove an aspect that you placed in a hex. In other words, when you're placing aspects trying to do your research. Then when you remove one, because if you place one that doesn't connect, then you have a 25% chance that it will put that research point back into your research point pool. And you're also able to see which aspects you need to combine, like I said, by hovering over them. Okay? Then the research mastery, basically it says that you now have a 50% chance to regain the research point. You have a 10% chance to, whenever you place an aspect, it will not cost a research point to do so, so that's also very handy. And also, if you need an aspect or a research point that you don't have any of, if you shift-click the aspect, it will automatically take them from your other points and give you more of them. In other words, like, let's say we were to run out of modus. I use a lot of modus, okay? So if we were to run out of it, and I hold shift and left-click, you can see that we now have 3 of them. It gave me that point. So instead of having to go through here and find them, put them down here, and then hit the combine button, it combines them for me. So that is awesome. We are actually way overdue on ending the episode. I'm going to do some research in between the episodes, and we will come back next episode, and I will show you some of the things that we've done, and we'll start making some general things for Thaumcraft. So until next time, this is Jeronitis signing off on episode 28 of my Let's Play series. Like me if you like me, subscribe if you want to see what we get into next, and as always, help spread the gaming.